Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with Playglow. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaiser Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaiser Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. It was in September of 2019 that GRA operationalized the Petroleum Revenue Audit Department, or PETRAD. That department was established to ensure the administration of taxes within the petroleum sector and to ensure the execution of cost recovery audits aimed at verifying the expenditure claims of contractors who have entered into PSAs with the government. Now, despite its best efforts to achieve the said goals, GRA noted that several challenges hindered the work of PETRAD. Chief among these was the failure of all related government departments to sign into a memorandum of understanding governing the sharing of pertinent information. It is understood that this significantly hindered the authority's ability to access the documents needed to plan all cost recovery and tax audits, as well as adopt more proactive contemporary audit techniques. And now let's tell you, the ExxonMobil sponsored Center for Local Business Development is currently embracing the stance that much more focus needs to be paid to the true meaning of what local content is, since simply importing an item for retail at a small markup profit does not count as true local content. So said the center's director, Dr. Nakasha Gaskin-Peters. She explained that when the oil companies spend to procure goods from a local company, if they are importing them, that is not really local content. She explained that when this obtains, it would mean that the majority of the money is still being leaked overseas, since the companies that are supplying the oil companies would have to pay for their items outside of the country. Gaskin-Peters noted too that if a local company is not investing in the country, then it becomes a leakage. And now let's tell you, 23-year-old Roy Ross, a father of 2, was yesterday morning found dead in his Swan Kururu Soostdijk Linden Highway home. His body bore multiple stab wounds, and police have since arrested 4 persons from the community who they believe were involved in the man's death. Ross was reportedly found lifeless in his living room sometime after 6 hours by his neighbor. It is understood that Ross was seen consuming alcohol with a group of men at a shop located near the Swan ball field. While the circumstances leading to the man's death are yet to be ascertained, we were told that persons who saw Ross that night recounted seeing the suspects provoking him, but Ross, they said, had ignored them. Eventually, we were told that Ross decided to go home, and it is believed that the men followed Ross and attacked him there. And moving on, over the years, Easter has been characterized by families and close friends, regardless of religion, descending in their numbers on parks and other outdoor recreational facilities to fly kites and have picnics and generally enjoy time together. But the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic succeeded in putting a damper on kite flying activities, which were reflected across the country yesterday. With just a handful of colorful kites in the shapes and sizes adorning the cloudy skies, Easter Monday in several parts of Berbice was just not the same. Considering there are 60 cases of the deadly virus recorded in Region 6 alone, the authorities have been working to keep the parks, ball fields, and beaches closed to the public. And now let's tell you, a taxi driver who goes by the name of Robin reportedly picked up a male passenger yesterday and took him to a location where he beat, robbed, and then kicked him out of this car. The robbery with violence took place around 1:50 in the vicinity of Tushan, East Bank, Essequibo. The passenger, who police did not identify, said that while in the vicinity of Tushan, he told police that Robin took a right turn at the junction and stopped. The passenger further alleged to police that before he could react, Robin turned and cuffed him several times to the body. And moving on, Northwest District resident Eustace Abrams was today found not guilty of murder at the Georgetown High Court before Justice Brassington Reynolds. He was, however, found culpable for the crime of manslaughter by a mixed 12-member jury on a proportion of 10-2. Upon hearing the verdict, Abrams begged for mercy, telling the court that he is sorry for what happened. The man told the court, too, that while he is in prison, his children are begging on the streets to survive. Abrams, who was indicted for the June 15, 2017 killing of Orlando LaCruz, a Pomeroon River man, was not sentenced today. His judgment has been deferred until April 26, 2021 to facilitate a probation report. And moving on, a resident of 1 Mile Wismar, Linden, is now counting millions of dollars in losses after the house in which he resided was destroyed by a fire of unknown origin on Easter Monday. The entire interior of the house was engulfed and nothing was saved from the blaze. Rudolph Willis, Wills, the occupant of the home, said he secured it and went to a neighbor's yard about 30 meters away. When he saw smoke emanating from the northwestern side of the house, and then in a matter of seconds he saw the fire blazing. Initially, members of the community tried to extinguish the flames manually, but were unsuccessful. And on that note, let's tell you that police are searching for a woman who reportedly chopped her boyfriend to the head at number 68 Village, Upper Quarantine, Berbice. Nursing an injury to the head is 29-year-old Parmanand Thakur, a hire car driver of number 60 Village. The suspect has been identified as his girlfriend, Radhika Hardio, also of number 68 Village, Quarantine. It is understood that Thakur was with Hardio at her home when an argument erupted between the two. The argument got heated and Hardio armed herself with a cutlass and dealt Thakur a single chop to his head. The injured man told police that he then went to his motor vehicle and drove to the Skeldon Public Hospital, where he was treated and sent away. Police said checks were made for Hardio at her number 68 Village home, but she was not found. And to wrap things up, let's tell you, according to a press release by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a board of new executive management and council was elected for this year and the ensuing 2022. This comes as a result of the GCCI's first statutory council meeting today, and the newly elected bodies comprise of President, that is Timothy Tucker, Gerald Gavaya Jr. as Senior Vice President, and Kester Hudson as Junior Vice President. Meanwhile, Gavin Ramsundar is Secretary, and Gavin Ramsundar also is the Treasurer.
And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories